On the table tonight, I have a used OS FS-91 Surpass engine. Now, this is an engine I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace yet again, and there wasn't really much information known about it. The fellow that sold it said it was his father's, and he was just selling some of his father's stuff. So this engine has had a pretty rough life. It's got quite a bit of marks here on the fins on the side of each side, which obviously that can't be fixed. It's got other markings on it, and the prop drive is kind of gnarly too, and then we got marks on here. So this engine, I don't know the type of person that owned it, but it does not look like it was taken very well good care of. Now, it's a used engine, I'm pretty sure, and I have a funny feeling that this has been cleaned. It just kind of has that appearance of having been cleaned off at least once. So I'm going to begin the disassembly process of this engine. Now, it was also missing this screw, but before I turned the camera on, I found a screw to put in there. I could have just left it off for the video, but I didn't. These two screws here are really not healthy. So I think I'm just going to start with taking them off. They're really kind of wallowed out, so and this engine turns over really rough. I mean, really rough. Let me take these two screws out now. I mean, there's not a plug in here, and it's rough. There's not a plug in there at all, and it's really, really rough. So I'm not sure the kind of life this thing has had, but I'm going to see about bringing it back to life to the best of my ability, at least. So at minimum, it's going to need bearings. Hopefully it doesn't need a ring. I mean, I haven't felt an engine feel this rough without a plug in it in a long time. I wonder if that'll just come off. I'll just leave that off. Be interesting to see what the rest of this looks like. I did pull the drive hub off, and I noticed that there's not a shield on the front bearing. So that kind of leads me to believe that this engine has been serviced before. Now, see, the inside here looks really nice. I mean, it does look really, really nice. Let's just make sure we don't have any stuck cam followers, because both of those things are, both rocker arms move just fine. It'll be an interesting one to see if that little trick with the Torx head will help get this wrist pin out of this engine. Push rods don't, that push rod doesn't look damaged or anything. Looks like it's in good shape. Valves feel fine. Let's go ahead and open this rear cover up. That comes off really easily. Wow, look at that. Holy crap, look at that. There's a bunch of black metal, grease, something. I don't know what that was. That was pretty gross there. It smells like something's burned up in here. It doesn't smell healthy at all. I hope I can do something with this engine, because that doesn't smell good. May need a ring. Okay, so here's the top of the piston. Yeah, so look at this. This looks like somebody's tried or cleaned this engine, but obviously either they didn't replace the bearings, or because this looks pretty clean. Does that have should have a shim in here, but I'm not seeing that looks like that's a shim. I mean, that doesn't look bad, but man, back end of that engine just doesn't smell very good at all. See, here's that front bearing, and typically you would not see that on a stock OS engine. They would have a shield in the front. That looks really nice. Yeah, I'm saying this engine has been cleaned up, but not done very well. Or something went wrong, or I don't know. Looks pretty clean in here, but I wonder how much on the bottom of this piston skirt is not looking very happy. Maybe I should have left that off. Oh, that's kind of shocking. Well, maybe it's not shocking that that's pulling right up. The whole engine just has an odor to it. Well, you know what's weird? This Surpass doesn't have a hole here for a wrist pin extraction, which means this should just come right off here. Oh, damn it, I wish I had. Well, there's no hole to extract the piston pin, so this has to just come off here. It has to have room to come off the connecting rod, but it is not wanting to just cooperate like that at all. It's not like there's a whole lot of wiggle room here for that either. Between the sides on the inside of the piston. There we go. See the bottom of the, if you can see that or not, the bottom of the skirt is kind of chewed. I'm gonna have to see if I can kind of polish that down a little bit. There is a lot of room here. That's what I wasn't seeing, but there is plenty of room there for that thing. That's what facilitates, that's what allows you to be able to pull these connecting rods off without having to extract the wrist pin. Because some engines, the bosses in the piston are like really tight or thick. Yeah, I don't know. The ring feels okay. I almost wonder if this thing lost a bearing, or if these damage here was the result of some idiot not knowing what they're doing when they're taking an engine apart or something. I don't know. All I know is that's not super nice. Well, that's pretty much it for this. I got one more cam follower in there. But I think what I'm going to do is probably go ahead and put this thing in the... Oh, no, I can go ahead and take the bearings out now. Let me pause the video for a moment and get my items out for bearing and crankshaft removal and see about pulling this guy out. Which it's not. Let's get this other cam follower out here. There we go. Just for the heck of it, before I even heat it up, let's just see what. Crankshaft came out fine. Rear bearing feels pretty rough. Front bearing feels pretty rough. Let me get my punches. Let's use this guy here. Let's just for the heck of it see if this thing will want to come out without. Yeah, look at that. I mean, look how easy that bearing came out. Feels pretty bad. This one's coming out now too. Yeah, I don't know why that. Unless the grindy feeling was this piston going up and down in the sleeve. don't see any damage to the sleeve. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Feels really weird. Do we have a bent connecting rod? Let me see if I can pop one of this pin out real quick. There we go. Hey, Sasha. Yeah, even this this side of the piston where the wrist pin goes in is chewed up a little bit. I don't really want to invest in a whole new piston for this engine, if I could even find one, but damn. This is not looking super happy here. I'm not sure what exactly happened with this engine, and I'm not sure if I can make it right again with the parts that I've got here. Ideally, it looks like a new piston and ring would be in order. I don't know that replacing or trying to get this ring off here would be successful without breaking it. Oh, it looks like we're going down that road right now, doesn't it? Okay, the ring is off. Let's see how it feels going around the groove here. Feels fine. Hopefully I can reuse that ring as long as I don't break it putting it back on. I'm going to have to try to dress this stuff up a little bit with some little files and some emery paper or light sandpaper. Otherwise, I don't think that this looks like it's bent. Doesn't look like that's bent. I mean, this is weird. I think this engine had been gone through and somebody may have replaced these bearings and then tried to run it, obviously because of the gray swirling here, but something wasn't right, and I'm not sure exactly what would have been rubbing or causing that metal build up on the rear cover. I don't feel any gouging in the sleeve. I didn't see any scratches or peeling or any damage to the sleeve at all. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this engine right now other than start dressing that piston up a little bit.